Hello everyone, again it's Shima here from Infinite Love Coaching and Mindfulness Academy with another session of relationship coaching. Today we are going to talk about love languages. Do you want to know what really makes your partner feel loved? Have you ever become discouraged because your expression of love seems unappreciated? Is your partner well-intentioned, but you just aren't feeling loved the way you want to be? Don't worry. You and your partner don't need to have the same native tongue. What matters is that you learn to speak the language your partner or future partner hears. You see, love isn't finding a perfect person. It's seeing an imperfect person perfectly. A core human need is to be loved, not a need to fall in love, a need to be genuinely loved by another person. When you are in love, it's natural and easy to make your partner feel loved. Real love requires effort and discipline. The longer you are together, you and your partner's ability to express love to each other gets more and more important. So, welcome to one of my favorite topics. When I first came across the idea of love languages, it blew my mind. And what I love about it so much is that it's so simple. And after you learn about it, it becomes really obvious. And the reason why it's so powerful is because there is a lot of people out there that are trying to be loving to their partners. And it is like that their message isn't getting through. And they can get really frustrated. And a lot of times conflict happens because somebody is not feeling loved within a relationship. It's not because they are not being loved, it's because they are not feeling loved. Because when it comes down to the feeling of love and feeling that you are loved and also the feeling of loving someone else, it comes from within your own mind. So you might feel like you are loving someone or you might feel love for someone, but if you never express it in a way that they are associating love with that way, they're not going to know it. So you could feel love and they won't. It makes sense, right? Well, in the same way, someone else can feel love for you and you may have no clue. And it could be that they are not expressing it, but it could also be that they are expressing it in a way that you don't hear it. So just with that in mind, I want you to make sure that you use the quiz that is on our website and you can figure out what is your love language. It also includes a variety of another questions that really help you get better understanding of what is that makes you feel the most deeply loved fully and completely. And also, if you are working with your partner, it helps you or them figure out what the other party really need in order to feel loved. So there is a lot of clarity that can be gained by doing the experiential and the questions of the quiz. So the concept of love languages is that there is 5 different ways that people feel loved. It can be different types of actions that another person would do that would make you feel really, really loved. And the concept is that for each of us, there is one or sometimes 2 of these 5 that just really impact us more than anything else. So, the first one is the word of affirmation. Mostly this would be verbal, but it could also be writing. Sometimes we write little notes or maybe text message or whatever it is. It's affirming to other person that you appreciate that person or you love that person. It can be as obvious as saying I love you, or it can be something more simple like thank you. It could be complimenting And it could be praising, saying, oh, you are really good at that. Or I love it when you do this. Thank you for doing this for me. So the acknowledgement verbally of the other person called words of affirmation. So the second one is act of service. People who really value act of service are the ones who believe that action speaks louder than words. So to them, you might say, I love you, but if you are not doing things for them, then they don't feel love. So a lot of people who have this as one of their primaries, they may have had a parent or someone in their life that was always doing things for them as a way of expressing love. A lot of time we end up looking for love to be expressed in the way we got used to having it expressed in our household. Whereas other times we really are looking for love to be expressed in a way that we didn't receive when we were a child. So it can go either way, but act of service is things like offering to help or doing something for someone else. Just out of the kindness of your heart, maybe cooking a meal for someone that might really make them feel loved. And if you offer them help when they are busy or when they are working on something, they can really appreciate it in a different way and they can associate that with love. Everybody finds the act of service nice, but some people really value it in a different way. And when you do that for them, it fills them up and it makes them feel fantastic. So the third one is gifts, and gift seems like a little bit obvious. A lot of people enjoy receiving gifts, but it might surprise you that not everyone associates love with receiving gifts, unless you are one of those people. Personally, gift is the lowest of my five. It's nice when people give me gifts and make me feel good. I like to know that somebody is thinking about me, but I wouldn't necessarily say it makes me feel loved. And if I was receiving gifts from someone, but I wasn't receiving any of the other type of love languages, I would actually feel pretty bad. So, but there are at the same time many people that gift is on their top list. For this group of people, the thought really counts. It's not only about the gift, and it shouldn't be only physical object. It can be any form of giving, but for them, the thought behind it really counts. So if you know people in your life that when you give them something, they are just absolutely overjoyed, it means that the gift really means something for them. So for them, the love language is actually giving gift. But if you are giving and giving and giving gifts to somebody and you are not really reacting, it's probably that is not on their top list of the love language. So it's not because that they want to reject your gift. It's just that they speak a different love language, and the more you can learn about other people's love language, the more you can make them feel loved. So, the fourth one called quality time. For people who are looking for quality time, what matters the most and makes them feel loved is feeling like they have somebody's undivided attention. It's knowing that someone genuinely wants to spend one-on-one time with them. And so, if you're someone who wants quality time, you could have all the gifts given to you in the world. And you could have the other person clean your car for you. They could say, I love you 100 times a day. But if they are not taking the time to sit down with you, make eye contact, talk to you, turn off the TV and the cell phone and pay completely attention to you, you are not going to feel loved. The fifth love language is physical touch. Now, all people, all humans do require physical touch to a certain degree to feel loved. It's just part of being a human being. But for some people, this is absolutely necessary and they want it all the time. So just for a little bit of background, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense. When you are a little baby and someone's trying to comfort you when you are not feeling well, for one reason or another, you learn to associate physical touch with love. It makes a lot of sense. Now, at the same time, there are certain people that don't receive a lot of physical touch as babies, and so that can impact how much they look for it as an adult. In relationships, that could actually make them look for it more, or maybe it makes it less important to them because it's not what they associated love with as a baby. But what is interesting is that if a baby is not held and touched and responded to when they are upset, they can actually die. Part of the reason is because when you touch a baby or you hold them, it actually produces endorphins. And endorphins is painkiller. So if they are in pain and you are holding them, it literally makes them to feel physically better. So as an adults, we are not that much different. It's like when we are upset, we just want a shoulder to lean on, or we want someone to give us a hug. Everybody has a different level of what they are looking for to that physical touch. Some people immediately think of it as sexual, and that's not necessarily the case, although it's part of it. It can also be hand holding, it could be a hug, it could be a kiss, or it could be putting your hand on the other person's knee under the table. Any type of interaction. For some people, physical touch is the absolute top of the list. So it doesn't matter what else you do, how many times you say I love you, what else you do for them, how many gifts you buy for them. If you are not having enough physical touch or you are not reaching out to them physically, they are not going to feel loved. So wouldn't it be very important and very useful to be able to understand what all these things mean to other people in your life so that you know how to communicate to them that they are loved? Because when you love someone, it's wasted if the other person doesn't know it. Make sense? So whether you are in a relationship or you are single and trying to figure out things for yourself, make sure that you make the quiz and find out what is your love language. Until the next session, sending you lots of love, blessing, and happiness. Your ultimate state of happiness, harmony, and success is my mission. Shima.